This conference will now be recorded.
So whoever have joined, are you able to hear me, folks? And look at my screen as well. You'll be able to see my screen as well.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Salman. Thank you, Samant, Sudarshan, Swami, Vasant, Raj, M. Krishna, Alekhya. Okay, so people are joining. Let's give a couple of more minutes so that everybody else joins, and then we can get started. Okay, so looks like that's about it. So we'll get started, guys. The session is getting recorded. So my notes is still there. Yeah. So as you can see here, the first request is import the root certificate to the browser. Okay. So in case looks like the latest version, which is 5.2, doesn't have the certificate. So maybe the latest version doesn't need the certificate, I believe. Okay. So if you go to the bin folder, okay, there isn't any certificate that I can see here. Okay. So, but if you look at the older versions, I have 5.1.1. Okay. If you look at the older versions, if you go to the bin folder, there is something called temporary root CS certificate. You see, it's a security certificate. So guys, okay, all the 14 of them. So whoever has enabled or enabled your mic, please go ahead and disable it. Yeah, everybody has disabled. Okay, so if you look at the older versions, which is 5.1.1, you have this root certificate. Okay, so you would need this certificate, to be honest, security certificate for the older versions. I mean, I've used 5.1.1 and definitely you would need this. But if you go to the latest versions, okay, if you go to the latest version, which is 5.2, which I've just downloaded, I couldn't see the certificate. Okay, so let me go ahead and quickly search for it. Okay, and to be honest, guys, 5.2 is the first time I'm using as well. Okay, so let me see if there is any certificate as such in 5.2. Okay, but definitely you would have some certificate here which says temporary root CA. So let me search with temporary root CA. Okay, there isn't anything called temporary root CA. So let me see if it has any certificate. This one. Okay, so the latest version didn't have it, guys. So most likely the latest version would work without any certificates. But in case if you're using 5.1.1, I will upload this into the Google Drive and you can get it from there. You can download 5.1.1. Okay, so the certificate is there. So all you have to do, watch carefully. I wanted to use Chrome browser for my recording. So what would you do? You go to settings of Chrome browser. How did I go to settings? These three dots here and then settings. Okay, or just to say Chrome 2// and settings. Okay, and here search for certificate. Okay, and you see manage certificates is over here. Click on manage certificates and then it will allow you to import the certificate into this browser. Okay, import the certificate into this browser. So Alekhya, I'll take the question, okay? But let me come to the logical conclusion of this particular explanation so that I'll be able to take your question. Now go ahead and import the certificate, okay? So what is the task that we are doing? We are importing the certificate into the browser where we record. And why would you import the certificate? So that the recording happens. Okay, you wanted to record using the Jmeter and recording happens only if the certificate is imported. Okay, again I'm telling you guys, importing the root certificate to the browser. Why? Because you would want to record. Without this, it will give you issues while recording. Okay, so went into the settings, search for certificate, clicked on manage certificate. it got hanged up on me, guys. Just give me a moment. Okay, so let me kill the process and then open the Chrome again. Okay, now it has come up. You see, click on manage certificate. Now you click on import, click on next, and then browse to the folder. Okay, so now I am in 5.1.1 as you can see. Okay, so this one 5.1.1, and as soon as you go to the bin folder, it will show you the root certificate, which is the security certificate for Apache Jmeter. Just double click on it and make sure, okay, once you click on next, make sure automatically select the certificate store based on the type of the certificate. Okay, don't try to put it elsewhere, or don't try to put it in a personal folder or something like that. Let it automatically select it. Click on next, and here is the certificate details, and click on finish. Now the certificate has been successfully imported to the Google Chrome. Okay, if I try to search, okay, if I try to search the 5.2 folder, okay, you see there is no certificate in this one or any of the folders. There is no certificate. Okay, so maybe if you go to this certificate, this places as well, there is no. Okay, so most likely for 5.2, there is no certificate that is needed, is what I am believing. Okay, anyways, okay, so you can try this 5.2, try to record, and recording is happening smoothly without any issues. Then you wouldn't need a certificate. So after the class, I will use 5.2 as well. Without importing the certificate, I'll try to record it to see if it is working fine. Okay. Now, Alekia has asked a question. Okay. Okay, Raj has shared a link for the root CS certificate. Okay, you can get the certificate from the link. So here is the link Raj has shared. I'm just clicking on it, trying to access that web link. Okay. So Alekia, there is no certain use to use 5.1. It's always better to use the latest version. Okay, but the one that I have used is 5.1.1, and there I have imported the certificate without which the recording was not happening. Okay, so yeah, here is the root certificate, guys, and you can download it from here. Okay, which is downloadable. So even for 5.2, if you have an issue, okay, then you can import the root certificate from here. Just click on download zip and then unzip it and then import it to the browser. Thank you, Raj. Thank you for sharing the link. And then the link, this link is there on the chat window, guys, which Raj has shared it with us. So you can just get it from there. Thank you, Raj. Okay, so Alekia, have I answered your question? I'm not sure. Always better to use the latest versions, right? 5.2 is latest, but you know the latest version needs to get stable. So there will be some bugs which might not be there. If you start using it, you might get to know about the bugs. So you know, as soon as it releases, not only this Jmeter, anything, as soon as it releases, so it's better to wait for a few months before you start using it. That's what I believe. Okay, so anyways, now we have, if the, you know, with 5.2 folder it is not there, Raj has shared the link from where you can download it, so you can download it and then import to the browser. Now set up the proxy server. Okay, first step, you know why you have to do it. Without this the recording wouldn't happen. So if you want to have the recording smoothly, you have to import it. First step is done. Second step, set up the proxy server. Okay, why do we need to set up a proxy server? Let's try to understand that. And setting it up itself is just 2 or 3 steps, not an issue. But the most important thing is, why do we need to even set it up something? Okay, for that, first let's try to understand what is this proxy server doing, okay, and what is the purpose of it, and then why to set it up, we will understand. Okay, so hang on, guys. Okay, so let me use this slide here. So now, okay, let's say this is my proxy server. Okay, here is my browser and here is the server. Okay, so Take any application, okay? Let's say it's a Facebook application, okay? Take any application. Let's assume it's a Facebook application, okay? So on the Facebook application, okay, let's assume this is my Facebook, okay? My system has become a little slow, guys. Bear with it. Okay, so this is the Facebook, and you're trying to access the Facebook from your browser. They're saying www.facebook.com. As soon as you enter it, typically the request goes to the server, and server sends the response back to the browser, and now you will be able to see the launch page of Facebook. Then you enter the username and password, click on enter again, a request goes to the server, and server will send the response back. Then you will be able to watch the wall. All that is happening. Now what you do is, between this browser and the server, you set up a proxy server. You set up a proxy. You set up a proxy. Now what you're doing, you're forcing your request. You said www.facebook.com. Now that you've set up a proxy, you're making sure that the request goes to the proxy, and from the proxy, the request goes to the actual Facebook server. And the Facebook server would send the response back. It wouldn't send the response back to the client or the browser. It would send the response back to the proxy, and the proxy would send the response back to the browser. Okay, it is more like a stop. Okay, so this proxy is being set up between the client and the server, or browser and the server. So whatever the request or the response has to go through, and the response has to come back, it has to go through the proxy server itself. And now that you understood that it is between the client and the server, what is the purpose of this? So now what is the purpose? My Jmeter will look into the proxy, and whatever is there on the proxy, my Jmeter will capture it. Basically, the request and the response is being captured from this proxy server by this tool called Jmeter. So just assume that it's more like a bus stop, wherein people can board in and then come out. If you wouldn't have a bus stop, people needs to board into the bus on while running, like a running bus, and then they have to board, and then they have to get down of the bus running, which is not possible. So had there been no proxy here, the request and the response would be going back and forth, and the Jmeter wouldn't be able to capture anything, because it is more like a running bus. Okay, you would have to board into a bus which is running, and it is not possible. Okay, so or come out of the bus which is running, which is not possible. So there needs to be some sort of stop wherein the Jmeter can look at it and then capture the data. The data here is the request and the response. So it needs some sort of halt so that the Jmeter will be able to capture that. So for the Jmeter to capture it, what you're doing, you're setting up a proxy server so that, and making sure that the request and the response goes through this proxy, and the whole purpose of doing it is so that the Jmeter can capture that request and the response. Okay, what is the first step? Configure the proxy. Second step, make sure the Jmeter is actually looking into the proxy and capturing whatever is there on the proxy. So Jmeter wouldn't even capture related to Facebook. On the background, if something is happening, typically you will have some plugins and some sort of request and response going behind the scenes because of those plugins or because of those add-ins. All that will be captured by Jmeter. Not just related to Facebook, but whatever the browser is sending, knowingly, unknowingly, whatever the browser is sending, all that data will be captured by the Jmeter. Okay, so first step is set up the proxy. Second step is configure the Jmeter to capture whatever is there on proxy. Is this point clear to you? So Raj, I think maybe Jmeter can directly communicate to server, but you would have to have the server access and all that. And what you need is just the request and response to capture. You don't need the server access. So I don't think you'd really want your Jmeter to directly communicate to the server. I don't think so. Okay, so Raj, I'm trying to answer your question. Okay, I don't know. I mean, okay, it can communicate. Okay, once the script is being created in the Jmeter and you're executing, it can communicate to the server directly and get the response back. That is there. Once the script is there and you're executing the script, the Jmeter directly communicate with the server, which means that send the request from Jmeter, get the response back to the Jmeter. Raj, are you trying to understand? Once the script has been captured by the Jmeter and you're executing the script on the Jmeter, then the direct communication from Jmeter to the server would happen, which means the request will be sent by Jmeter and response would be captured by Jmeter. But the script needs to be created, which means that the script needs to be captured. So you need somewhere to capture it. Even the LoadRunner does the same thing. Okay, it listens to this traffic and then captures the data. Okay, Jmeter is also basically doing the same thing. You would need a request and the response. You don't want my Jmeter to directly communicate to the server. All I want is the request which is going on, I need to capture that, and the response that is coming, I need to capture that. So in between, I have set up a proxy sort of thing so that my Jmeter can look into the proxy and capture what is there. Okay, directly it cannot look into the bandwidth and capture it. So that's why we are setting up the proxy. I tried my level best to answer your question, Raj. Okay, so now, okay, yes, that is for Jmeter. That is for the Jmeter to listen to the traffic which is there on the network lines or on the network. Okay, so some sort of halting point so that my Jmeter can listen to. Okay, now the question is, recently one of the student has asked this question. Okay, so in my company, okay, in my company, proxy is already being set up, not for Jmeter, but for other reasons. The proxy has been already been set up. So do I need to set up another proxy? This was the question. Okay, this was from one of the students. Okay, in my company, proxy has been already set up. Most of the guys who are working in the companies, you know that proxy, you would have a company proxy, okay, which has been already been set up, not for Jmeter, but it's already been set up. Okay, so the question is, do I need to set up another proxy? So what would your answer be, guys? I'm just out of curiosity, I'm asking. So if this question was posted to you, I know you wouldn't know the answer, but what do you think? Logically, tell me, looking at this diagram. Okay, why would you need, I mean, what was the whole purpose of proxy? And and looking at this diagram and understanding the purpose of it, you should be able to answer this question. Whether it's right or wrong, just give it an attempt. So what do you think? Do you need another proxy? Yes, Y, or N? Raj says, yes, we need another proxy. What about others? I know your answer may be right or wrong, it doesn't matter, but I want you to, answer it, just out of curiosity. Okay. Krishna says yes, Raj says yes, Salman says no, because it's already there, why would you need it? Yes. Okay. So let me answer that question, guys. No, you wouldn't need it. All you need is a halting point wherein my Jmeter can look at it. If the company is already set up a proxy, it will have a port. Just get that port and the proxy and then configure it accordingly on Jmeter. Jmeter will be able to capture it. Okay, you wouldn't need it. Okay, if the company has already set up the proxy, you need not have to set up your own proxy. Make use of the existing proxy which is already there. That's what I'm saying. And it worked for you, to be honest. Okay, so proxy is just to capture that. If the company is already set up a proxy, get the proxy details, configure it in Jmeter, and you're good to go. Okay, so that's what I would recommend you to do. Okay, and it worked for him as well. But now, okay, now let me go back and then do it. Okay, set up the proxy server. It's not at all difficult, guys. It's very simple step. Watch carefully. Okay, so go to settings. Okay, go to settings. Okay, and just search with proxy. Okay, just search with proxy and say open your computer proxy settings. Okay, internet properties will open. Again, what did I do, guys? Again, what did I do? Go to settings. Okay, search with proxy. Proxy, and then click on open computer proxy, and internet properties will open. Okay, and by default you will be in connections. In the connections, click on LAN settings, and this is where you can set up the proxy. This is where we can set up the proxy server. Okay, so usually you would have this option called automatically detect settings. Just click on use proxy server for your LAN, and here the server is localhost, port is 8888. Localhost means whatever the machine that I am using, that's what is the localhost. So I am making my machine itself is a proxy server and with a port 8888. Okay, just click on OK. Just click on OK. Now the first step is done. Okay, sorry, the second step is done. Set up the proxy server. Okay, wonderful guys, wonderful. Again, just say use proxy server for your LAN. Make sure the address is localhost, or I think if you go back and get your IP address, okay, the localhost is nothing but your machine itself, right? And then if you go to the IP config, okay, the IP configuration, I mean the IP address is 192.168.0.102. I believe if you give that IP address also, it should be fine. Okay, I never tried, but you know, localhost is this machine itself, so you can give that IP address. So you can give it a shot to see if its recording is happening. Okay, and then using the port 8888, typically this is a port which will be open, so you can use 8888. Okay, and click on OK. Now proxy server is done. Now some students, okay, ask me a question as to what is this port, why we are even setting up this port, and okay, so let me answer this question. Okay, so let's say your friend is arriving from a different city. Okay, you are living in, let's say, Mumbai, and your friend is arriving, okay, from a different city, maybe from Delhi is arriving. Okay, so he came to your colony or your place, you know, nearby, and he called you up and asked for your home address. Then you said, my house address is, my house number is maybe like, you know, 1-54-873. This is my house number, and there are multiple doors to it, so please come via door 5. That's what you're saying. Okay, please come via door 5. So your friend will search for this address, and then once he comes to this address, he will notice that there are multiple doors. So he comes to door 5. You would have opened it, you would have kept it open, and he can come to the house. So similarly, my Jmeter, so this is the address, localhost is the address. So it will look for this localhost, okay, and in that localhost, obviously the server would have multiple ports. So you're saying that using the port 8888. So my Jmeter would actually look into that proxy server or keep an eye on the traffic on that proxy server. So using this port 8888, just like a home has multiple doors, a server would have multiple ports. So you're specifically saying using this port, you look for the traffic. On which machine? On the local machine. Are we clear with this part, guys? Are we clear with this part? Okay. So if the company proxy is there, so probably you would have an IP address of that particular machine, which is 192. Blah blah blah, and then it would have a port. So you get this information and you get this information as well. Okay. Are we clear so far, guys, all of you? Okay, thank you guys, thank you. Okay, now set up the proxy is done. Configure your tool, okay, configure your Jmeter tool to capture this traffic. Now let me invoke the Jmeter, guys. Okay, let me invoke my Jmeter. Okay, bin executable jar file. So every time you don't want it to go to the folder, copy it into the desktop and you can invoke it from the desktop. I think I've already copied it on my desktop. So let me check. Yeah, it is there on my desktop. So I need not have to go to this folder all the time and invoke it from here. So I can just copy that executable jar file as a shortcut onto the desktop, and then you can invoke it from here as well. Okay, now you see the for recording you would need a non-test element called HTTP script recorder. Again, I'll talk about the test plan a little later. Okay, don't get overwhelmed looking at this test plan. It is more like a folder. Okay, so right click on add. There is something called a non-test element which is not used for performance testing, actually not for executing, but this is for recording. That's why they named it as non-test element, and you can use this non-test element for recording. Okay. And now, okay, so here whatever the setting that you have to do, click, you see the port 8888, and here you can say local host, or you can leave it as it. Okay, you need not even have to worry, you can leave it this thing empty. So local host port 8888. Why you have given the port 8888? Because in my proxy settings you clearly mentioned that the port is 8888. So definitely, okay, you have to mention the same thing over here, 8888. Wonderful. So now the third step is done. Configure your Jmeter to capture the traffic. Third step is also done. Third step is also done. Now you can start recording this. Now you can start recording. Okay? But before recording, once the script gets recorded, okay, it needs to be stored somewhere. It needs to be stored somewhere. Or it needs a folder sort of thing. Salim, sorry, it was a bit fast. Okay, so what did I do? Let me delete this. Okay, Salim had a difficulty. So right click, add non-test element, HTTP test script recorder. What is, by the way, all this is elements. Everything is an element here. Okay, so everything is an element. Okay, so here we have to use the element called HTTP test script recorder. As the name suggests, it will help you to record the script. Salim, are we okay with this? Are we okay with this, Salim? Okay, I'll be wrapping up the class shortly, guys. Okay, so okay, now you just have to configure is just give the port and here say localhost. Okay, wonderful. Now the configuration part is done. So my third step is done, guys. My third step is done. Configure your Jmeter tool to capture the Jmeter. Now you can start recording. But once I record, there will be some content that gets recorded. Where will I store that? Where will I store that? So wherever you store that, that is what we call it as controllers. Okay, so you can store that in a controller. Okay, you see, use recording controller. You can store that into a recording controller. But first I need to add that recording controller. How would I add it? You see, right click. Okay, add. Okay. 1 minute, guys. Config element, listeners, timers. Where will be? Okay. Okay. So where would I get that controller from? Recording controller. Okay, there you go. So now whatever. Okay. So what did I do? I search for the controller over here. It is not available. You watch anywhere that recording controller is not available. And clearly, why am I looking for the recording controller? Because whatever my Jmeter captures, it will be put inside that recording controller. Again, if you want, you can put it in a recording controller, or else you can put it somewhere else as well, which I will discuss later. Okay, but right now let's go simple. You wanted to capture under the recording controller, so I'm searching for that recording controller, and since it is not available anywhere, then what did I do? So I've added something called a thread group. Okay, added something called a thread group. Later on I'll discuss about why thread group, what is the purpose of thread group, and why we need a thread group, all that for the later point of time. We can't learn too many things at one single point of time. Let me concentrate only on recording a script. So for the recording to happen, there should be recording controller. For the recording controller to be there, there should be thread group. So I've added the thread group, right click, and then go to logic controllers. Then I got it. I got the recording controller over here. Okay. Now why do we need a recording controller, guys? I needed a recording controller so that I can capture the script. I can store the script that the Jmeter is capturing. Okay, now watch here carefully. You see test plan, thread group, recording controller. Test plan, thread group, recording controller. That's where my script gets recorded or my script gets stored. Okay. Now let me go ahead and start recording, guys. So I've configured it and also make sure that I've given the path where the recording needs to be captured as well. So let's go ahead and start recording. For now, I'll use any application. So sample application, I use JPEG store. I haven't spoken anything about JPEG store right now, but when the actual class starts, I'll talk more about this demo application. But for now, just look at this application, okay? Okay. So first is launch. So I'm using a demo application called JPEG store, guys. Don't get overwhelmed again. It's just a sample application, okay? So all I will do is just sign in and sign out, okay? So first click on sign in, okay? And then sign out, okay? For understanding sign in and sign out, I don't think you need to know much about the application. All I'm recording is just sign in and sign out. Okay, so it's just a sample application, guys, so that I can record. So JPEG store, all I did is launch the application, sign in and sign out. So I'm not giving any briefing about what this application is, how to use this application at this point of time. Okay, let me focus only on creating the script. Okay, so what did I do on this application? And launch the place, signed into the application. Okay, sign into the application and sign out. Okay, so now tell me, guys, where would the recording be? Something would have got recorded. So where would that recorded stuff will be stored?
In recorded controller.
Okay,
It's in recording.
Okay, Krishna said recording controller. Okay, so this one more buddy said recording controller. Yes, in the controller called recording controller, we expect something to be captured, and that's exactly what happened, guys. Okay, and exactly what has happened. Okay, each one is called a sampler. By the way, each one is called a sampler, and multiple samplers make a particular transaction. Okay, so we have recorded only 2 to 3 steps. Bunch of samplers got recorded. We'll talk about that later, but at least now we understood that, okay, we can record the script using the Jmeter. But what has been recorded and why we need to use the recording controller, if there is some other controllers or what, we'll discuss about all that at the later point of time. Controller is more like a folder which is holding all my recording content. Okay, all my recording content. Now, okay, Raj, if I execute this script, my Jmeter is directly communicating to the server. Okay, now the requests are not going from the browser, the requests are going from the Jmeter. Okay, why only I'm answering to you? Because you said if Jmeter can directly communicate to the server, yes. Okay, once the script has been created. But what is this stuff and all that? We'll look into it later, guys. Okay, so this is the demo session. This is what we will stop. It's already 10 o'clock, so close to 2 hours of session if we take half an hour away. So we have given 1.5 hours of session for the demo, guys, but all this will be repeated in the regular sessions as well. Okay, so you would have to be patient. So this is what I have planned for demo. Okay, so anybody interested want to join the sessions, continue and then learn, deep dive into Jmeter? Okay, so let me know. I'll walk you through the payment process. Okay, you know my phone number, so I'm putting down my phone number here. Okay, this is an Indian number, guys. +91 is an Indian code. 801-995-2427. Okay, +91 is what you need to dial to reach to India. So just WhatsApp me. I don't want you to make international calls if you are in US or elsewhere in Sweden, elsewhere. So just WhatsApp me on this number and we will take it forward. So when do we expect the advanced Jmeter sessions, Raj? Probably next month is what I'm planning once this is done, or maybe. So there is another trainer called Praveen for that. Okay, so we are planning along with Praveen, Gatling tool, advanced Jmeter sessions, and then CA Willy is a APM tool. We are planning with that. Okay, so that's what is the advanced Jmeter course. But this one, but again, advanced Jmeter, don't think that this is any basics. No, this is intermediate level. A lot of programming, certain extent of programming is covered. Very, very important concepts of correlation and all that will be covered. And most of the projects you should be able to do it with this particular course that I'm covering. Okay. So Deepak LoadRunner class is already in progress. We came to almost the fag end of the class, but you can purchase the recorded videos from me for the LoadRunner course. And next month again I will start a LoadRunner course, and you can join that course free of cost because you've already purchased the recorded videos. Okay, or you can make a partial payment and take the recorded videos, and then make the full payment and join whenever the live session starts, which will be somewhere December 20th is what I'm guessing. Okay, so so as I've told you guys, note down this number. I'm putting down this number on the chat window, guys. Okay, so take this number, and you're eligible for the advanced Jmeter sessions only if you take a basic Jmeter session, or you have worked on Jmeter and know certain concepts. Okay, so that's a different story altogether, guys. So I've put down my number on the chat window. You can take it from there, or most of you should be there as a part of the WhatsApp group. Okay, so I'm sure you're there as a part of this WhatsApp group. If you're not there, please let me know so that let me take away proxy, guys. Because of proxy, it is not allowing me to access internet. Okay, so let me take away the proxy. Okay, so if you're not part of this WhatsApp group, guys, please make sure that you join that group. So I'm sharing that link, the WhatsApp link, with you very shortly. Okay, so or ping me on that number that I gave you, 801-995-2427, so that I'll give you the link to join that WhatsApp group. Okay, so Salim, please add me. I'm joining MJ in WhatsApp group. Okay, I'll do that. MJ and Salim. So so here is the group that I'm talking about. Okay, so just quickly let me share that link with you. Okay, invite via the group link, copy the link. So I'm putting it up here, Salim. Okay, so I've shared it with you. Okay, the WhatsApp link. So on your phone, just click on that link and immediately you'll join that group. Salim, MJ, and everybody. Okay, so I've already shared that with you on the chat window, that link. See, okay, so please take it from there. Okay, so Salim, I'll try to add you. Okay, but not sure. You can ping me once. Okay, else I'll try to ping you. I'll store you. Okay, so +4 means what is that I have to add, Salim? 004, or what is that for Sweden? You can unmute yourself and speak. Let me stop recording, guys, because this is not required for the people who are looking at the recorded video.